What is the Foundry? The Foundry is a program affiliated with the University of Utah, and the goal of the Foundry is to grow durable entrepreneurs for life. This was started by a guy named Rob Webker, who should really be doing this video, as I am nothing but a servant to Rob. But nonetheless, I thought I would take you guys through and explain exactly what the Foundry is designed to do. A lot of people answer us this question, and we find that this is potentially an easier way to answer it than having dozens of individual conversations. So that's our stated goal, is building durable entrepreneurs for life. That's what we're trying to do. Some people may call this an incubator, and I think by the end of me explaining what the Foundry is, you'll understand the difference between the traditional incubators and the Foundry. The first thing we wanted to talk about is what is it, and then I'll tell you sort of how we do what we're trying to do. So really our goal is educating leaders. We concentrate almost entirely on educating the entrepreneur, and I'll talk about that and sort of what the effect of that is, as opposed to concentrating on growing companies. We're concentrating on educating the entrepreneur. We're also trying to increase their managerial capacity, and we have some systems and some management strategies to help us increase their managerial capacity. We're also teaching entrepreneurs how to create a network and helping them create a network, as we believe that that's an extremely important part of growing businesses. And then also we have a culture that we're trying to instill around startups, around operating in a lean way, around marshaling resources, and then also around problem solving, about how you solve problems using sort of collective knowledge, not necessarily an individual solving problems themselves. It's also sort of an important thing that we like to talk to entrepreneurs about. That's really what we're doing, is we're educating people, we're trying to make them better managers, we're helping them create networks. These are all the things that, that studies have shown help folks grow companies. So how are we doing this? Well, we have a physical space, we have office space that entrepreneurs can use. We're also driven by peer review and coaching instead of mentor-driven coaching. Instead of having entrepreneurs stand up and say, I'm really smart, I know what I'm doing, you should follow my lead, we find that collectively peers that are also trying to start companies are pretty good at solving problems as a group. So we facilitate that. We're also building a novel curriculum delivery mechanism. We've decided to start making videos and text available around common subjects that entrepreneurs are often confronted with in growing their business. So we have a library of videos that are designed to help them understand individual concepts. And then also we're engaging in the community. It's really important to have the other players in the community engaged with new entrepreneurs and with their companies in order to really understand how the whole ecosystem works together. So what's unique about what we're doing? First of all, it's open to any startup, anywhere. We will sort of take all comers. There is an application process, but we're open to folks outside of the University of Utah structure, and I'll sort of explain that in a second. It's also free, and in this case, free actually means free. We don't take any equity, we don't charge rent, there are no fees, you don't have to use certain service providers. We're really exchanging money with almost no one in the ecosystem. So really, our goal is to train the entrepreneur, not necessarily to own a portion of their company. And then really, what is unique is that we're focused on the entrepreneur, not the company. So if an entrepreneur's company fails, that's not necessarily a failure. If they have learned a culture and a process to start a company over and over, then we've succeeded in our mind. Of course, we want their companies to succeed, but that's not our primary goal. We're not really interested in growing the value of the company because we don't own any equity. That does some interesting things to what sort of businesses that we can admit. Because we aren't driven by increasing the value of equity, we can admit companies that are very small and would never fit the angel investor or VC investor model. And that really more accurately reflects the real economy. That lots and lots of businesses in America who are started by entrepreneurs are never going to raise money from big investors. They aren't appropriate for that, but they will produce jobs, wealth, and economic growth. And so we feel that's a better model with the stated purpose of educating entrepreneurs, because we don't have to be concerned about the raise in value of the equity of the companies, because we don't own it. That's for the entrepreneurs to worry about. So this is a little drawing of the ecosystem in Salt Lake City. It's very simple, but this is sort of how we view the Foundry fitting in. At the bottom here is the University of Utah, that's why I drew it in red. And we've got MBA students, undergraduate business students, and other students who are interested in the Foundry and might participate in the Foundry. We have this curriculum layer that we've built that a lot of the students will interact with through some of their classes. Also, the Foundry members will interact with that curriculum layer. And then we've got management strategies and some things we do socially. We have some educational strategies, that's jokingly what we call the magic layer, that we have the companies follow. So we take companies that are coming out of the university, that are being created, and we also take companies from outside of the university that aren't affiliated with the university, and we have them participate together. We feel like that's important because it allows companies that are, maybe first-time entrepreneurs or folks that don't have as much experience to sort of mingle and develop peer networks with folks that may have more experience or may have a running a company with revenue as opposed to just an idea. So each of these are folks in the ecosystem. We've got corporations, mentors, investors, service providers. These are just a few examples. With each of these, we have what we call a services exchange, meaning that the service provider would like to get to know some of the companies because they might be future clients, and the companies might need legal advice or accounting advice or what have you. So there's an exchange that sometimes happens there. That's informal, there's no money. And then investors are interested in what the companies are doing and sort of keeping an eye out. They're certainly watching for potential investment opportunities. Not all the companies will be appropriate. They're also coming in and volunteering some of their time in exchange for access to these folks. And then we've got mentors that are floating around that want to work with some of these companies, potentially sit on boards, help the entrepreneurs, and we provide an easy way for them to plug in and help out. And then we've got corporations. They want to recruit people. They will potentially be hiring some of the folks that participate here. And then in exchange for that, we'll often have executives come in and give presentations. They'll give us free software, they'll give us services. So we're building this informal connection to each of these groups. We also connect to other universities, and there's a few other groups I didn't draw on there. But that's essentially what the Foundry is. We're building a real-world laboratory, if you will, that will help people grow their businesses and will train entrepreneurs primarily. And we do that using our curriculum layer and some of these other unique things that I talked about. But really the thing that should make us stand out from other sort of incubators, which is the closest thing to us, is that it's a free program, we don't take any equity, and we're really concerned with the entrepreneur, not necessarily with the success of the company. And also we have some novel curriculum delivery mechanisms. So that's what the Foundry is. If you're interested in it, watch our other video about applying to the Foundry, about how you apply. And hopefully we'll see some of you when you join.